It says we're live! Yay! Hello, peoples. I'm so excited to be here today sharing space with my dear friend, colleague, and client, Kristie McKinley. Hey, Kristie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited you're here and we get to talk another soul shift story. So I started this series because, I wanted to share, been doing this for a while, and I just see the amazing shifts within you guys that I work with, and I want to share it with the world so that people can see that it's totally doable. It's totally just, you can either sit there and dream about something, or you can get going and step into it and lean into the love, lean into your power. And we don't always do it alone, because I think when you and I met, you came in as a group member, because that's one of the things I do is the groups. But anyways, instead of me just yammering, so hi, I'm soul coach Michele. I'm a soul alignment coach. I help people reconnect with their inner being, realign with their soul, and start manifesting their soul purpose driven lives. And so that's my jam. And these are my peeps that I want everybody to see their amazing journey and their amazing success. And today with me, I have Kristie McKinley. And Kristie, why don't you share who you are, what you do, so that we all can see who you are, your wonderfulness.
Okay. Well, my name is Kristie McKinley. I'm a Reiki master teacher and I'm a self-care coach for exhausted energy healers. I facilitate workshops, I record meditations, and I offer distance and in-person Reiki. I speak to a variety of groups on self-care, and I am on a really amazing journey.
Yes, you are. And I am honored and just blessed to be a witness to your journey. I mean, I just thank you so much for allowing me to kind of flow in and out of it here and there. It's just been amazing. So let's kind of dive right into your story. So back in the day, because it's been a minute, since you kind of started your journey, like what, 2 years almost, at least?
I think, I think it's about, I think it's been right at two, give or
Yeah.
take months.
So if you can think back that far, so what made you consider looking for a soul coach, or looking for a group or a tribe that would kind of support you in your transformation?
I think it was like a couple of things. So I know what was coming to mind is I had reached a point where I had I'd been aware that I was like, I think I've done everything I can do by myself, because I grew up in a household where you had to be really self-sufficient and kind of think on your feet and do things on your own, for good or for bad. I'm still here, but I kind of was realizing, I really need some help outside of myself. And then two, I was doing all the things. I had to do all the things, and I had to do them 5 minutes ago, and they had to be perfect. So I was really and I also was awareness. I'm like, something didn't feel right, but I didn't know what was really off. And I think also it was like I'd been kind of paying more and more attention to like divine timing, how things were falling into place. Like I was really had a real super huge struggle with money. And I was beginning to notice if it was something that I was meant to do, the money would show up. So and that I think I was just really kind of tired of where I was. I think that was kind of maybe the core of all this, was just really just kind of done. And so yeah, it was a hot mess. I was doing the self care coaching, but it was just, I think it was kind of right at the beginning of realizing that I needed to kind of still continue to do more work to be like my best self for myself and like the people around me, as well as my clients and everyone else. And so yeah, that's kind of what it was.
So you're a self-care coach, and it was almost like your self-care was by the wayside. Because I know for me, when I know that behind the eight ball feeling you were talking about, it's like, and it doesn't go away unless you stop and you self-care. And sometimes it's like what you said, you hit the wall and you thought, I'm doing all the things. Why are things not working?
Yeah.
And it's because it's like we can't do all the things ourselves.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely got that with like the gratitude of being in collaboration with others for workshops. It's like I'm not the only one having to come up with all the ideas and try and figure things out. And even that is a learning process for me, because I realize now I was so afraid of like messing it up and doing it wrong, and what would they think of me, and do they think I'm pulling my own weight, and in my head I knew I was, but because I was so full of fear, like, it just gummed up so many things. So yeah, everything is a journey. I'm still learning, which is great. I love learning, but even then I had to relook at what that looks like. You can't just sit still all the time and learn. It's like, kind of move it, and, learn as you go. And this is just the first phase. And next time it will be a little bit more refined and different, and just being kind to myself and being okay with it not being perfect the first time. So it's always an amazement and always in gratitude. And I think that's the most.
Because you came in and it wasn't like, you weren't like a new woo. I call it like people who are just recently spiritually woke or something like that. You had been on your path already. And it was almost like, because like I always say, people say, well, who do you work with? And I'm like, I'm a big proponent of not saying everyone, because I think you and I both know as coaches and those of you out there who are supporting others in their journey, you can't help everybody, because there's 7 billion people on the planet. There's no way. But yeah, I always say I help folks who are in transition of waking up or new level, new devil when it comes to their spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where I kind of showed up for you. Do you agree?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And it just helped me, like, how I am with my clients, like how you were with me. It was like, you were like, and I'm not really down with like hand holding, but I again, that fear was kind of keeping me from fully expressing that with my clients. And when I saw you show up for me, like, I'm going to hold your hand to a point, but I'm not going to completely hold your hand and call you out a little bit on some stuff that you're saying. Because lots of times when we're in that fear, half the time we don't realize what we're saying or what's coming out of our mouth or what we're doing. We're just functioning from a place of fear. And so it was just kind of like, you kind of helped me realize I'm not the only one lovingly calling people out on their crap. And you kind of want, I don't want to talk to everybody, because not everybody's in that position to be willing to be in that space, to be a little bit vulnerable, to realize, oh, wow, I could love myself a little bit more and this would all be a lot easier.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So with that whole thought around, leveling up and loving yourself more. So through all this stuff, through working together, what were you able to do in your life? Maybe your life, your business, your career, because you're self-employed. You do the self-care coaching. I'm so excited. Kristie just like expanded into a private space. That's so amazing. Yeah. So what were you able to do in your life, your career, your business after we worked together? Like, what did you take away that really leveled you up?
Well, the most recent thing was the having the new space. I mean, that was a tremendous leap of faith. And just because of like all the, the work we did together, the work I've been doing on myself, the group, reaching out to the group, like, which, I wasn't like, barraging you with questions every single day, but they released enough of a support system there to be like, laugh, cry, I'm having this, whatever, and it'd be okay. You can just show up however you are. And so it was probably one of the greatest leaps of faith short of my husband. So, and then it all kind of unfolded. It worked out well, and I have a space now. So that's most recent. And then just lots of other things, just kind of getting that practice of just loving myself enough to trust myself, to feel worthy enough to know that I can do this work, because I have all this evidence and all this confirmation up to this point that I can do this work. I've helped tons of people, and I feel grateful for that I have this gift to be able to do that for others. So just, remembering all that and being aware. So
it sounds like you really have kind of, and I want people to understand this, that, we talk about, getting rid of your fear and eliminating these, limiting belief systems. I think what coaching helps with, and you probably see this in your clients too, it helps give you more control over those voices in your head, that itty bitty shitty committee.
Yeah.
That like 2 years ago, there was no way that you would sign that lease.
Yeah. And when you were talking about fear, I would preface it with paralyzing fear, because fear is just letting you know that something's off, which is an awareness. And like, oh crap, this is like right before, because I was back and forth about it. I was like, at least I'm aware of this feeling. And I was like, what? Let's take the leap. And, I would say paralyzing fear. I would only way.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even know that. When we worked together, like way back in the day, that has kind of moved along into, and I agree. Like the self-awareness, I talk about that all the time. Self-awareness. And like what I say is between the experience of like fear or anger or whatever is over here and your awareness is over here. And the more you work with your coach, whether it's me or somebody else, like if it's Kristie, if you're watching and you're working with Kristie, I guarantee you, if you really think about it, your fear or your anger, your reactionary stuff versus your self-awareness, you start here before you get to the coach. And then the coach helps you do this so that it's like I'm having, and instead of being in the moment, in the emotion, it's, oh, wait a minute, I'm feeling something. Like you just said, I'm feeling some data. Like it's a Google search. Feeling some data here. Going on. And then you because of all that self-work and that practice, you get to that point where you can actually, like we were saying earlier, be in control of your thoughts, be in control of your and choose. Okay, this is fear. A bear is not chasing me.
Yeah.
And this is a choice, and I can make a different choice down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not just you've made the wrong choice. Like it's just you're lost. You realize you're lost. You can either keep being lost, or you can turn off the exit and turn back around. One's empowering.
The only person that knows you're making U-turns if you make them is you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was one of your biggest takeaways that you had when we were working together? Can you share that how maybe that's taken hold in your life?
I guess helping broaden my my feelings of how I want to feel with something that I want. Like an anchor for me is like my two nephews and my niece. Like I adore them; they're awesome. And so just to help me on those days that I recognize, I think it's also a little bit of like not being attached to any one particular feeling, but know that if I have a down day, like I think 2 days ago, I was just like, it was just a weirdly weird day. And I came home, I turned on my computer, and there they are on my wallpaper. And it just helped lift but at the same time, not feeling like I have to depend on looking at their faces, just, relying on a memory. And I think, because even when I started working with you, I was still familiar with law of attraction, but like reading your book and, taking your program just kind of helped me kind of broaden my horizons on what could possibly be as far as law of attraction, an ever expanding view of what that is.
And what do you want to share? Some things you've manifested? Hint: unicorn.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. And it's funny. I found a pinata unicorn was the last one on the shelf at Target and it was in the wrong spot. And the guy gave it to. It was like I think it was like $7, and the guy said, "Oh, I'll just do it to you for $1." I was like,
"Shut up!" Oh my God, Marguerite's gonna die laughing when she hears.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so y'all, Kristie is huge for manifesting unicorns. So like when we were working together, share like all the things that you manifested. That it was like every time I turned around in the Facebook group, you were like, "Here's another one. Here's another one."
We were Share the Light. It's like a spiritual networking group in Murfreesboro, and Donna Lynn had made the sleep mask that had unicorns on it. It was the last one she had, and she gifted it to me. Let's see, my friend Ingrid gave me this little tiny baby unicorn. There was a unicorn with it was like one of those Beanie Baby ones at Office Max that had the string broken on it, which was like super cosmetic. It cut the string off, not a big deal. It was like $4. The lady gave it like half price. And then my friend Mark gave me this little a pillow that says I'm an effing unicorn. I don't know how to see. And then a little duffel bag backpack with unicorns all over it. So
yeah. And what was maybe one really big thing you manifested? Maybe not unicorn themed, like something that you manifested that you're like, oh my God.
And I know this sounds kind of cheesy, but like it's been so many things. The client the lady that I work with now, one of my clients is like she's a Reiki teacher, and but she's had a stroke, and so I'm helping her write her book, and so I've written self-published my own book. I'm familiar with editing, and so it's really a joy to talk to her because I'm reading her first book that she wrote before her illness, and it's so funny because I'm learning so many new things about meditation because she's taught meditation too as well as Reiki, and it's just really just like this joy in learning this new stuff about this person that I'm working with. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Neat things, and again, I'm not being attached. I'm just focusing on the feel good feeling of the feel good, and I'm not it's a practice. Some days I get a little controlling and I just honor and love and forgive myself, but I still just focus on like just feeling good, and then all the stuff that shows up, because I mean the universe is not, the universe conspires in your favor when you you're attached to the feeling that you want to be attached to. So
yeah. And so before we kind of jump into, sharing what you do and maybe the little gifty that you're going to gift everybody. Um, so what do you feel you learned about yourself when we were working together? Like now that you've kind of gone through that process of us, because like you've done everything, you've done all the things with me. So, so in that process, what do you feel you learned about you? What do you feel you learned about Kristie?
that I'm pretty accomplished in all the things that I've done, and I've done a lot of things just because, just at my age, yeah. So I can do a lot of things, and I have an ability to see like two sides to a situation. Whereas before, I used to think that was like a freakishly weird gift, but apparently it's like a superpower. So I try and incorporate that in life as much as possible. And I guess I just learned to value my worth that much more, just because I had that comfortable space to kind of get around and and get like roll around in the dirt a little bit and get messy and see what was what. Just feeling better with just me, just being happy with me, worth and all, and just and just being kind to myself, which I hadn't really been for like ever, just because of like the story that I grew up with, which I mean, it's all good, but it helped me be like a person, like, resiliency and perseverance. But I just stayed stuck in that gear for so long. It was no longer serving me, and it was just time to change out of just into another gear. That's really.
And like, and just because, we talk about our childhood, you know, there are things that people add to, like I always say, there's certain people on our itty bitty shitty committees
Mhm.
that out of their love for us and their want to protect us,
Yeah.
they instilled maybe in us a fear belief or a limiting belief. And it doesn't make them a bad person,
Oh no, absolutely
right?
not.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't make us a bad person if we want to let go of it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that learning that kind of stuff, like you were saying, like and expanding beyond it
Mhm.
is really serving you. I mean, look how, like, it's almost like in the last year, your expansion, or the last 6 months even, your expansion is like exponential. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I know you knew, like my father passed away in December, and so that was a really huge thing for me. Just because like the grief involved, but then because I've been doing so much work on myself, I just became really aware of all of my feelings, like the phase of things. And when I had those really like super darkly dark night of the soul, I
Mhm.
had a support system there to be there for me when I was ugly snot crying at the chiropractor's office. Oh my gosh. And so, I just, it was just, I just became just really just super aware of things. And at the same time, just super kind to myself, just because there's so many other people who have gone through grief and have not managed it as well as I have. And I have to, and in those moments, I'm like, oh, I understand. So I've had a lot of those life systems, like, oh, okay. Like I had a lot of memories and stuff come up. I'm like, why am I remembering that? And then when I started to notice the pattern, I was like, oh, okay. And then it's just something I just realized then it was something that was coming to the surface so I could work through and get
Yeah.
past.
So it's almost like even though it was a traumatic thing for you, it would
Mhm.
be for anybody.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
grieving process for you was super healing, it sounds like.
Yeah, I went through like this manic decluttering phase, and just sat with myself, sat with my thoughts, allowed all the feels to come up. I immediately recognized that I needed to talk to a therapist who was familiar with energy work. So I got me a therapist, and she's amazing. And just I just did my best just to live life as best I could in this new normal. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Kudos. So I do want to kind of like bring us, because we're coming near our time now, and I want to be mindful of your schedule and everybody else who's watching. Um, so I wanted to reach out to everybody out there. So if Kristie's story is resonating with you, and you are like, I want to reach out, whether it's me or somebody else, but at this point, if I'm who you're seeing and this is resonating with you, I'm going to invite you to book a soul path discovery session with me. This is where you can start. You fill out an application, and then we set up our brief little 30-minute call. It's complimentary, and we can talk through it so that if you are someone like Kristie, who is like, I know something's just not there. It's just not working, and I need help. You can come, and that's what we do here. And if we're not a good, I told Kristie this, like, sometimes like we'll refer people back and forth to each other because it's like, this is more up your alley. But start here. This might be your first step towards where you want to go and where you want to be. And Kristie, being the awesome lady that she is, has a gift for everybody watching. So I'm going to put it up here. And Kristie, you can go ahead and share your little gifty that you want to share with our viewers. And by the way, it's only good. You have to do this by the 5th of June, which is what, tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a 30-minute distance Reiki session. It's recorded. It's confidential. And you fill out, also allow time. Don't do this at the 11th hour because you have to fill out a little intake form. It's super short, but some people, like, I know when I filled out intake forms, I usually sometimes write several paragraphs. So write whatever you feel comfortable, but yeah, it's a complimentary 30 minutes distance Reiki session. Just if you feel called to book a session with me.
And FYI, I know this is on the screen and not really clickable, so don't worry. And we're on the video. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to like be, shorthanding this. Up here are all the links from this video. So whether you want to come and do your Soul Path application or you want to do Kristie's 30-minute gift of a Reiki session with her, go ahead and click that. Or you can do both. Hell, why not? Heal the hell up, Yeah. Oh, Kristie, I'm so excited that you joined me today. I know everybody out there watching probably is like, this is awesome. Her journey's amazing. Yes, go ahead.
Just one thing. If there's a time that doesn't work with you, or if you're in a time zone that's like Australia, as long as you email me by midnight tomorrow my time, I'll still count it, and we'll figure something out. If your times don't work with mine, we'll figure something out.
See how awesome she is? She's just awesome. Well, Kristie, I love you, and I'm so excited and thankful you joined me today.
Oh, thankful for you.
And I guess it's time for us to go. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we love you, and we'll see you soon. Mwah! Bye, y'all.